In the glamorous world of entertainment, there are always unexpected moments that leave the public breathless and saying, "Why is he so sweet?" This fictional story features two big names, William Chan and Dilraba Dilmurat, two top stars with an incredible fan base. The two are rarely seen in private, but a secret incident at the hospital touched the public, especially the fans who idolize them. The story begins with news that Dilraba will have to undergo intensive care for some time. No announcement, no drama, no publicity, only her closest circle knows. Fans begin to notice her absence from several events, but her management team simply says she is resting. Unbeknownst to the public, this period becomes one of Dilraba's most lonely. Her days are spent recovering, away from the stage lights and cameras that usually accompany her. However, it is precisely during this time that an unexpected person appears, William Chan. A secret, unplanned visit. In this fictional story, William initially does not want to attract attention. He arrived at the hospital not as a big-name actor, but as a friend. He wore a mask, a hat, and a dark hoodie that partially covered his face. If not for his long strides and the way he spoke to the receptionist, no one might have recognized him. He heard the news from a staff member close to him. It was brief, but enough to make William pause his busy schedule. "She's getting better, but she's still weak," the staff member said. William didn't say much. He simply nodded and immediately decided to leave. Upon arrival, he didn't go into Dilraba's room first. He stood outside the door for a few minutes, as if gathering courage or making sure he wouldn't disturb her rest. When a nurse passed by and recognized him, William simply put a finger to his lips, signaling, "Please don't tell anyone." A touching moment, her first smile in a long time. When William finally entered, Dilraba was sitting propped up in her hospital bed, clutching a thin blanket and staring out the window. Her hair was simply tied back, her face bare, but there was a serenity rarely captured on camera. When the door opened, she turned her head slowly. It took her a few seconds to realize who it was. "William," she said quietly, almost in disbelief. William smiled slightly, putting his hands in his jacket pockets. "I heard you're starting to walk again." Dilraba laughed, a small, weak, but genuine laugh. It was the first time she'd laughed like that in weeks. "I didn't expect you to come," she said. "If I'd waited for the official announcement, it might have been too late," William replied casually. The small talk warmed the previously quiet room. There were no cameras, no management staff, no cheering fans, just two people supporting each other. William pulled up a chair and sat beside her bed. They chatted lightly about work, about the food Dilraba wanted to eat when she recovered, and even joked about their old projects. But what touched her most was when William said, in a softer tone than usual, "I know you're strong. You've always been strong. But this time, you can rest too." Dilraba looked down, clearly touched. Not many people would have said such things to her even in the midst of her fame. Recovery and a sweet surprise. A few days later, when Dilraba was finally allowed to go home, what surprised everyone was who came to pick her up. Not many knew about William's previous visit, but that day, she returned to the hospital, again without any publicity. He waited in the basement parking lot, so as not to attract a crowd. When Dilraba emerged, wearing a thick jacket and a medical mask, she was surprised to see William standing next to her car. "Are you coming again?" Dilraba asked. "If no one picks you up, you might just run off in a taxi," William replied, opening the car door. Dilraba chuckled. "I can drive myself." "Not after you've recovered." The way William said it sounded like someone who genuinely cared, not as a colleague, not as a senior, but as a close friend who wanted to make sure she got home safely. Throughout the ride, they chatted casually. William asked if she was feeling better, while Dilraba occasionally jokingly imitated his reprimands. It all felt natural, light, and far from the celebrity aura that usually surrounded them. When the car stopped in front of Dilraba's apartment, she glanced at William briefly before getting out. "Thank you," she said sincerely. William nodded. "Get some rest. I'll send you some food later. Something healthy, not ice cream." Dilraba snorted softly. "You're just like a doctor. Call it whatever you want," William said before closing the car curtains and driving away. Hospital staff start whispering. Although William didn't want to draw attention to it, some staff who witnessed the moment couldn't help but talk about it. They didn't take pictures, didn't leak it to the media, but the story of a top actor secretly picking up his colleague from the hospital spread slowly by word of mouth. "So sweet. He really cares. We thought they were just friends on a project, but it turns out they're closer than that." But what was most touching was a senior nurse's comment, "In the crowded world of celebrity, such sincere moments are rare." Fan reactions even if they don't know the story. Because this is a fictional story, the public didn't see that small moment firsthand. They only saw that Dilraba returned to the stage after her break looking brighter, fresher, and more cheerful. Many commented on how different she looked, as if she had brought a newfound happiness. Meanwhile, William was seen smiling more often during some of his work schedules, though he never explained why. But to the reader of this story, it's clear that the two have experienced a small, warm moment, one that the world may never see, but enough to touch anyone. A moment that doesn't need to go viral to be meaningful. In a cutthroat industry, where every move becomes gossip and every close encounter can become a rumor, there's something beautiful about a relationship, whatever it is, that grows in silence. It doesn't need publicity, it doesn't need the spotlight. Just genuine care between two people who support each other. This story isn't about scandal, it's not about speculation, but about simple kindness. Sometimes, the most touching moments are the ones never posted on social media. And in this fictional story, William Chan proves that genuine care still exists, even in a world where everything is so public. A moment that doesn't need to go viral to be meaningful. In a cutthroat industry, where every move becomes gossip and every close encounter can become a rumor, there's something beautiful about a relationship, whatever it is, that grows in silence. It doesn't need publicity, it doesn't need the spotlight. Just genuine care between two people who support each other. This story isn't about scandal, it's not about speculation, but about simple kindness. Sometimes, the most touching moments are the ones never posted on social media. And in this fictional story, William Chan proves that genuine care still exists, even in a world where everything is so public.